Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel below. Drop a comment in, say hello, and let us know who you like as we're getting ready for a preview of race number 10 on Saturday coming up at Woodbine. This is the Grade 3 Autumn. Big field lining up to go a mile and an eighth on the synthetic here, Mike. And I think you can start with a horse like Fantastic again, who has probably some back class in here and is coming out of some strong races. But this is a horse who's not necessarily unbeatable in a spot like this. I mean, a horse who has speed, mile and an eighth, is about pushing it for the distance for Fantastic again. So I think we can start there. But if they go quick early and if he has to deal with some other horses up front, he can be beaten here.
Oh yeah, no doubt. This is kind of a wide open race. I think there are a handful of horses at least that you could make a legitimate case for in here. So you do maybe want to do a little price shopping come post time just to see who you think offers the most value in here. And Fantastic again is going to be one of those horses that you're going to take very seriously in this race. His good race is very good, but as you've pointed out, there might be some things working against him here.
As we look at the pace projector, that might be something that works against him if they go too quick early on. We know a horse like Paramount Prince wants to go, and he's just one-dimensional. Like, he doesn't want to come from off the pace, really. He is a need-the-lead horse. He got the lead in a small field last time, and he crushed, and he's the King's Plate winner and a multiple graded stakes winner. So when those circumstances show up and there's not that much other speed, he can be very impressive. Fantastic, again, wants to go. And then you look at the rest of the field. I mean, there could be at least one or two others who are maybe showing a little bit of speed, but I think those are the major contenders here that if it's one of those two that sneaks away, that's where it could be a little bit, scary if you don't have the other. But if they run to their form and they're up front, they're probably going to put a little pressure on each other.
It seems that way, at least on paper. We'll see how the riders decide to play, because you're right. I mean, they're both at their best when they can go to the front. And so, it'll be interesting to see if one or the other backs off in this race, which might be a mistake, but we'll see how they decide to play. And then you also have to just factor in, it's a really big field here. You have a bunch of horses drawn to outside posts. So even if they're not necessarily what you would call speed horses, they might be leaving for position in here, Gino, and running to the first turn, and that could heat the pace up.
Let's meet the field for the Grade 3 Autumn. We start with the one Swift Delivery, who tried Kentucky Downs last time out. You and I have mentioned this many times. When horses don't fire at Kentucky, I'm okay putting a line right through it, especially when they have good form at Woodbine on the synthetic. And that's what we have with Swift Delivery, who was a really impressive winner of the Seagram Cup back on August the 2nd. Mike earned a 97 Beyer speed figure doing that. And when you look at the recent synthetic races, they're actually pretty solid. The last two times this horse was on the synthetic were back-to-back victories, and he beat horses like Dresden Road, Paramount Prince, and Cool Kiss, who he's going to have to face in here.
Yeah, it just seems like a horse who's really gotten better as a 4-year-old for whatever reason. He's really improved. I actually will take it as a good sign, even though, like you just want to put a line through the Kentucky Downs race, but I'll actually take it as a good sign that they even ran him in that race, because I think they only went there. Yeah, because it's a huge purse for a horse who's in great form. So Cassidy probably just thought, we'll just take a shot. Now they're coming back to a surface that this horse has been really good on, especially this year. You mentioned his Seagram Cup. He was dominant winning that race with a wide move. And his race right before that, the allowance race, he ran way better than it looks there too, because he just got stuck wide the entire way. His rider had to make an early move with him there, and he still took over and kept going. I love the form this horse is in right now.
And you talked about making early moves too. He's shown us he's a horse who can do that. He's kind of versatile if they have to put him into the race a little early. This thing could set up very well for him. Just looks like a major player. We move to Paramount Prince right next door, multiple graded stakes winner. He wants to be on the lead, and we have a replay of him just cruising. It was a 4-horse field. He's able to defeat Loose Wire and Dresden Row. And, doesn't surprise me at all that he wins. I will say I'm just a little disappointed in the effort you get from Dresden Row, who's back there like 12 lengths out of it. He was a horse who was in very good form and doesn't have many bad races, but that was one of the more disappointing ones. So tough for me to really take something out of that, because Paramount Prince can win this race. I don't think he's going to get that type of trip he got, win or lose, and it'll really come down to Fantastic again. I feel like if between the two of them, Fantastic again is probably the more likely to sit off a little bit, because he's done that and he's drawn to the outside.
I agree with all that stuff. And this Paramount Prince to me is just a horse who, if he's not loose on the lead, I just don't think that he can win this race. And I don't see him getting loose. The last race, that's a 4-horse field, as you pointed out. The real key to that race was that Dresden Road totally bombed in there. And once that happened, this horse had nobody to beat. He walked on the lead. Even the two graded stakes wins here last summer, Gino, went back to back in the Dominion Day, the Seagram Cup, just absolutely loose on really slow paces. That trip, I don't think that's available to him here.
Yeah, it's nice when that is what your main weapon is, because you're going to catch fields like that often where you're just faster than those horses and you take advantage of it. But in these bigger fields with the little classier horses right now, I think he really does need that lone F trip, and not sure if he's going to get it. We saw Dresden Road, who's right next door. He was backing up, and that was disappointing, Mike. He's now been the beaten favorite in his last 3 straight races. I mean, you go back to last year, he's winning races around this time period going into the autumn when he finishes second. He won back-to-back graded stakes races leading into the autumn when he was a runner-up that day. And it's just disappointing, and it's a tough race to take him off of last time. Maybe you get a little better value in because of that, but he really did not fire.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can bounce back here. In a lot of ways, when I was looking at this race, Gino, I sort of felt like he's almost the exact opposite of Swift Delivery. Swift Delivery just feels like he was okay last year and has gotten way better this year. And Dresden Row was really good last year at 3, and maybe he hasn't improved quite as much as a 4-year-old, but we'll see. I don't think he ran a bad race 2 starts back, even though he got beat. I thought that was a good performance because he was the one. He took the race to Paramount Prince. They dueled all the way around the turn. He put that horse away, and Cool Kiss just sat a perfect trip and ran him down. So he ran fine 2 starts back, but he was bad last time. And it'll be interesting to see if he can bounce back.
Loose Wire was no match for Paramount Prince or Cool Kiss in his last couple of races. Can you make a case for this guy to turn the tables on either of those runners?
No, I mean, I really couldn't. I mean, I thought he got a kind of a brutal trip in the Durham Cup 2 starts back where he was just hung out really wide. So his rider tried to make an early move and it didn't work out. But he got a good trip last time and he was really no factor.
Maps of Breeze is sharp right now, Mike. He's won 2 in a row. And he came from off of the pace. And he drew off really nicely. He's going to go 3rd start of the form cycle here, looking for his 3rd consecutive win. You see him, he actually moves from about 8 or 9 lengths off of this early, kind of grinding, kind of moving up gradually, looking for room, nowhere to go. And then the rail opens up and he kind of ducks down there. Visually impressive. He's kind of an interesting bottom of exotics long shot type horse because he can pass a lot of horses and he's in good form. I don't know if he's quite classy enough to beat some of the tip-top horses in here, though.
That's the real question. Is he going to class up here? And they're moving him up to try a tougher race at the right time because his last 2 races are good. He's now won actually 3 in a row for Josie Carroll. I don't know what was going on with him earlier this year, but for the other trainer there, but he didn't run well in those races. But he's back on track since he's back in Josie Carroll's barn. He's had 2. I would just say he's had 2 really, really good trips in those last 2 wins. Both of them never had to leave the inside either time, just rode the rail. It opened up for him, and he came running.
We move to Borealis Trail. This is a 3-year-old who's going to be stepping up now and facing some of the older. He was in the Ontario Derby. He beat Mancetti, who was the King's Plate winner. And Borealis Trail came from last of 7 and moved up through the inside, angled out. This guy's getting a little bit better. He's looking like more and more professional. I think he steps up here. He doesn't face any monsters. He faces a solid group of older horses. Curious what the price is, but this is a good spot for him as he continues to move forward and face older horses for the first time.
Yeah, we'll see. This is he did just win a grade 3 race over this course and distance, but this is a tougher. He is up in class here, facing some older horses. They have a bit an advantage on him, but can't knock any of his last 3 races. This horse has gotten really good lately.
And you look at Fantastic again, and you kind of go back through his past performance running lines. He's some really nice horses in there. You see Carl Spackler at Integration, Johannes, Goliath, he's behind in a runoff race at Kentucky Downs, 2 fills a couple years ago back in 2023 when he finishes 3rd in the Jeff Ruby. Fantastic, again, is a grade 3 winner. He's grade 1 placed. He won on the lead in June when we saw him here, but he could sit off the pace a little bit. 1 mile and an eighth is the distance of the race that we're watching him win here. That's about pushing it for him, though, Mike. I mean, he got the lead that day. He can get it under the right circumstances. I think he's really more of a miler, but he might be classy enough here, and he could just sit off of the other speed. And if he does that, maybe he gets the jump on everybody else, and he's too good for this group.
Yeah, that's an option for him for sure. I mean, obviously you don't want to let Paramount Prince get too comfortable up there, but this horse just feels like he's going to be able to sit right up there, maybe take over on the lead, maybe somewhere near the top of the stretch, and then just see if he can last. And, in a lot of ways, Gino, the longer I looked at this race, and I'm with you, I think you bring up a really good point that, even though he just won that last race going this distance, he's probably a little better going shorter than this. I still think he's kind of the horse to beat here.
I completely agree. We move next to Cameo Performance. He's multiple graded stakes placed, but he's over his last 6. He was a runner-up last time out on the turf at Keeneland. He was about 10 lengths off, and he really started to move up nicely in between horses, and he was second best that day there. You go back to his synthetic races. He does have a couple races on the synthetic. They're both pretty solid. He's going to go third start of the form cycle now. He's interesting to me, Mike, from a gambling standpoint, if you're looking for horses to bet, if he is in that 10 to 1-ish range, because I do think class-wise, he fits with a lot of this group. So I'm going to give him a look if he is maybe in that 8 to 1-ish range or over as a horse I could bet in here.
I agree with you. I think if he's around anywhere near that 10 to 1 morning line, I think he is a really interesting horse because he does class up for sure, and he does handle this surface, even though they've run him on it very sparingly. He handles this surface, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. My main concern with this horse is just I'm not convinced. Because I really like him as a turf horse, Gino, but I don't like him going long as a turf horse. I think 9 furlongs to me is, as we were talking about the Fantastic again, it's pushing it, in my opinion, for Cameo Performance. But listen, I think he's just supposed to sit back here and make one run, and he might have the pace to come after.
We move to Classic Motown. He's a grade 2 winner, just a few starts back, winning the Eclipse in May. But in the last couple starts, since that graded stakes win, you see he's been behind Fantastic again. He's been behind Swift Delivery, Dresden Road, Paramount Prince, Cool Kiss. He's going to have to turn the tables on all of those rivals, Mike, who have gotten the better of him recently.
Yeah, and I just don't see necessarily the excuses for him in those last 3 races, Gino. And he's got that late running style, and I just don't think he's the best closer in this race.
Jokester's been in pretty nice form. I wonder, though, if maybe it was the dirt that has kind of upgraded him as of late, because you look, he's been winning races at Thistledown, Prairie Meadows, Oaklawn. And on the synthetic surface, he was fine, but on the dirt, he just seems like he's been a better animal. Maybe he's now just better as a 4-year-old, Mike. That could also be it, right? Maybe he's improving, but I think I want to see a couple more races from him on the synthetic.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, because I look at him too, and I feel like, oh man, they finally realized this year that they have a dirt horse on their hands, and it's really worked out for them. I guess the flip side of that is this horse was okay on this surface as a 3-year-old. I mean, he ran in the King's Plate. He actually ran in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown as a 3-year-old. So they liked him. And as you've already sort of mentioned there, maybe it's not the dirt. Maybe he's just gotten better as an older horse.
You're looking a few starts back. He's well defeated behind Hit Show. You put a horse like Hit Show in a race like this, he'd be really tough in a very, very short price. We go to Cool Kiss, who was a winner last time out. Actually won the grade 3 Durham Cup at about 18 to 1. And he sat a really nice trip that day. He was sitting down on the inside. He was just a little bit closer than he normally is. He was always traveling well. He was behind the leaders, and he angled around, and he really got going late. Like, he won like a real pro. If you didn't see the odds of the race, you would have thought he was 5 to 2 winning that race, not winning it like an 18 to 1 shot.
That's very true. And I also think it's worth pointing out too, because this horse was, claimed at the end of last year for $40,000. His race when Swift Delivery beat him back in June, that to me was an underrated performance as well. Yeah. He ran deceptively well that day to get third, and then it's just a couple of starts later that he pulls off the upset in a grade 3. I thought he got a perfect trip last time, and in a lot of ways, Dresden Road did all the dirty work in there and took a tough beat, but I'm not taking anything away from this horse. He ran a fast race, and he got the job done.
Wyoming Bill is grade 2 placed on the turf. He's capable of a really big late rally. That's what you're going to get from him, probably coming from off the pace and launching late.
Yeah, I mean, he's just another one. He's going to hope for a fast pace. He's going to hope for a clean run into it. And if you like him, if you found something to like about him, he is going to be a big price in this race.
We round out the field with Lost Ark, who is a multiple stakes winner, grade 3 placed. He was a runner-up last time out, and that was actually his first start on a synthetic surface. He was inside. He was traveling well, about 5 or 6 lengths off, and he got a nice opening. He moved to the lead. He was a clear-cut second that day. And again, first start on the surface, he could improve off of that a little bit, but he is parked way out wide in this big field.
Yeah, and it's not like he didn't shape with some potential early on. I mean, he ran some good races for Pletcher. We showed the replay of that race a little bit back when we were looking at Maps of Breeze, and you could this horse got a great trip in that race. He never had to leave the rail. He was always in front of Maps of Breeze in there, and he made the lead in the stretch. And ultimately, he was just no match for that horse at a big price. But it'll be a big price again.
As we round things out, we'll move to selections. You and I are both looking for a little bit of value. I think we have the same top 4 horses, just in a slightly different order. You're going to go with Swift Delivery on top.
Yeah, it was hard for me to get to the really big prices in here. I feel like I just sort of kept it kind of logical. I am going to try to beat Fantastic again, although I really do respect him. I just really like the form that Swift Delivery is in, and I like him coming back to the surface, and I like that he has the rail with tactical speed. I just think he's an easy, logical horse to like in this race.
Yeah, we both feel like Swift Delivery and Fantastic again are kind of the horses to beat. We have them as the horses
Yeah.
who we feel are maybe the most likely winners, but we throw in Maps of Breeze and we throw in Cameo Performance as horses that may offer you some value if you see them up on the board at a little bit too high of a price. So 1578 for Mike, 8175 for me. Whoever you play, however you play them, wish you the best of luck.